Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you could have first heard this episode 9 months ago if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that will get right on your ticks.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hotbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I am Sam Nifty Delaney, so what?
Welcome along. It's another Melchester Odyssey. Who'd have thunk it? We've been doing this for about 3 years now, and we will never stop, quite simply.
No.
So deal with it. I have in my left hand the 17th of March 1984 issue of Roy of the Rovers. Nice green lettering on a red background and a fantastic front page illustration, which we will get to in a moment. Across the top, sign please. It always tells us who the sign please star is in the centre pages with a big picture of themselves and their autograph. This week, it's someone who follows me on Twitter. Oh, yes. And it's none other than Nottingham Forest's Gary Birtles.
Gary Birtles follows you on Twitter. I think I remember this. I think there was once, many years ago, an episode of Top Flight Time Machine in which it might have been the one where he actually started following you.
Followed me live during the episode.
Yeah. It was a Fowler situation. Fowler! Gary Birtles follow, incoming.
Yeah. He follows Mince as well, so I think he's a Mince listener. He doesn't follow Time Machine, though. Awkward.
Oh, God, yeah, he doesn't follow me. Oh. Well, I don't know. I feel that I'd know if he did. I'll check, but I just don't want to be disappointed.
Maybe I should direct message him and say, hey, Gary, hope all's well.
I do have another podcast that you might want to check out. Put check out in inverted commas to show that you know it's a colloquial Americanism.
Yeah. It's a lot more regular than Mince. If you feel as though you're not getting enough Dawson in your ears, give it a whirl. Whirl in inverted commas.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, just to leave no doubt. No, Gary Birtles does not follow me. No, but he has used a vintage photo of himself for his profile, which is quite pleasing. Gary Birtles was one of those players. He was good at Forest, and then Man United went through a phase of many years, didn't they, of trying and failing to get in a reliable centre forward. Yeah. And they never quite worked out. It was like the curse in the 80s. There was a curse, wasn't there, of the Manchester United number 9.
Didn't they do the same? Didn't they get Peter Davenport as well? Also from
Peter
Forest.
Davenport, yeah, he was like, exactly, it was the exact same mechanism that they used by Nottingham Forest's number 9. And in both cases, I think they both went back to Forest.
I think possibly Peter Davenport washed up at Sunderland eventually, which just goes to show.
I kind of liked Peter Davenport. I think like when we had our Subbuteo League, which I've obviously documented in some detail on this podcast, but when we had our Sunday Subbuteo League that ended in tears and violence, there was a period in it where I had to be Forest because I wasn't allowed to be West Ham because my big brother was West Ham. He said, you can't be then. You got to be someone else. So I chose Forest because Forest in the 80s, even though it was past the period in which they were kind of, it was past their imperial phase where they were winning in Europe. Yeah. But I still liked them in the mid-80s when they had people like Peter Davenport, Johnny Method, that kind of era. They were still like a really good footballing team. They weren't quite as successful as they had been a few years before. So they were always my Subbuteo team. And
they always had Clough. I mean, Clough was always good value, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He liked Clough. They always had classy players. Nigel Jempson, he was a good winger that they had that I liked. Yeah, I had a soft spot for Forest. I don't anymore, but. Well, actually,
I don't despise them.
No, it's hard not to. Actually, I think they're one of those clubs that everyone sort of quite likes.
Everyone of a certain age, yeah.
Yeah.
who grew up with Clough and that.
When I say I don't have a soft spot for them anymore, I'm not saying that I now dislike them. What I was sort of saying was I used to actually think, oh yeah, they're one of the teams that I look out for, which I wouldn't say is true anymore. But yeah, I mean, Forest, there's a romance about Nottingham Forest. Even the name.
Yeah.
Should we call ourselves... Right, we're from Nottingham. So the choice is simple. City, United, Rovers, or at a pinch, Wanderers. What are we going to go for? Some mad cunt's gone, no. Let's call ourselves Nottingham Forest. But we're not in a forest.
Sherwood.
I don't care. People will think about Robin Hood, and Robin Hood is fucking awesome, and everyone loves him, and is a bit scared of him too.
And here, get a load of this. I've done us a badge. It's got a fucking tree on it.
Guess what the badge is? Go on, guess.
Like off
guess.
of a forest.
Can you guess? It's a fucking tree.
Oh, yeah, I've come up with a nickname as well. Right, are you ready? Are you sitting down? The Tricky Trees. Hey, invoice in the post, mate.
It's great branding. Great branding. Everything about Nottingham Forest. You know, it's a club that's hard not to feel a sort of a warmth towards, unless, of course, you support Derby or Leicester.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pleased to see they haven't just languished in the bottom three all season. They're about 16th
They're having a good
now,
go. I mean, they bought about 1 billion players. They're still buying now as well. They're off their fucking nuts.
You feel as though if they do go down, they'll be in massive shit because they've got all them players on Premier League contracts.
Yeah, absolutely. But they've got a big, jolly, bearded Greek man in charge who does not give a fuck.
He's got a bit of a checkered history, I think. There's some stuff in his past that's not entirely
come
delightful,
on,
but,
that's all in the past. Let's keep looking forward, not backwards.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go out and buy some sexy footballers and have a good time in the Premier League. But what about if we get relegated? Then we'll have all this expenditure. You're thinking, you're either thinking about the past or the future. Me, I live in the moment.
What about we don't get relegated? Then what?
You ever thought of that? What if we win the fucking Premier League, huh? Anything's possible.
We did it before. Oh, they fucking did. They got promoted and won the league the season after.
Yeah.
78. Mad.
The only problem is their manager always looks so tired. He fucking looks knackered, doesn't he?
He does.
I worry that he's not getting his afternoon naps in.
Yeah. I'm glad that he's made it as far as he had, because let's face it, he's not conventionally attractive, and that kind of
in
seems
this world nowadays, we live in the age of Instagram where you got no hope. Usually, unless you are a bit attractive. But this bloke, he's bucked the trend.
He has. Good for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Roy the Rovers. Gary Birtle, centre pages.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good times. On the front cover, it tells us what's been going on. It says, Roy Race had sensationally predicted that neither he nor brilliant Melchester newcomer Rob Richards would score against Carford City in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, and the City manager, Dennis Blair, was determined to shut Roy and Rob out of the game. And his method, we see on the front page. It is none other than Gruber, the Hammer of Dortmund, who has been signed by Carford and is a defender. And they've even put him in a West Germany kit, just to make him feel at home. Is it Hans Gruber or Karl Gruber?
That's Die Hard, isn't it? Hans Gruber.
Well, what's his name then? It doesn't mention his second name. It doesn't. We realised last week that he had the same name as the head of the Hitler Youth. Remember?
Yeah, that's where they got the idea from.
And they seem to have removed his first name from this. I can't see. No, his first name's not referenced. Somebody must have been tipped off about that fact.
Yeah.
And they've thought,
hello, yeah. Skewy, we've got a problem. No, it's not.
Big one.
It's not. It is big, but it's not insurmountable.
It's fixable.
Yeah. There is always a solution. Now, unfortunately, we have somehow introduced something we swore when we first started this comic we would never do. We have introduced the Hitler Youth to the editorial. And that is one of our cast iron golden rules. Not to do that, but we've done it. Luckily, not many people have noticed.
Kurt Gruber, he was. Oh, no, he is mentioned on the front cover. He is, but then not any more further through. Oh, God. Yeah, Kurt Gruber is his name, the Hammer of Dortmund. There he is. He looks a little bit like Lothar Matthäus. He's unshaven, which means that he's not fucking about. And we can see a player lying on the ground in his wake. It's hard to tell if it's Roy Race or Rob Richards because they both look the same. Rob Richards sometimes looks like he's either 18 or 39.
Yeah.
And he's just striding away with the ball. Very powerful imagery. Very powerful thighs as well. Look at him. Fucking hell. So he's striding away with the ball and then he boots it up the pitch. And a crowd member goes, "The Hammer of Dortmund," in inverted commas, "shows his power. Gruber has won the first duel with Roy Race." Yeah, it is Roy that's on the deck, looking perplexed. And that fucking voice seems to be coming from the Melchester fans. They're almost pro-Gruber. And then another one says, "And Kurt's got skill as well as power. What a pass to Colin Daly." Colin Daly. That's a 1980s footballer name if ever I heard one.
Yeah, Colin Daly. Played for a few clubs.
Yeah, journeyman.
Luton Town, a spell at Stoke.
Man City when Malcolm Allison was there.
Yeah, and then he played out the end of his career at West Brom, where eventually, once he retired, he did take on a coaching role.
Can we give him 6 months at Sunderland as well?
Yeah, why not?
They signed him just before transfer deadline day in March for £100,000 and he made 3 appearances.
Yeah.
And was then sold for £25,000 in the summer.
Well, he picked up an injury on that third appearance, which was a cup game at Bristol City.
A niggling injury.
And he was never quite the same.
Yeah, there were rumours that he hadn't settled in the area and that he wanted away and he had actually refused to come to training.
Do you know what? I think this is really fun doing this and we could make it semi-regular, just made up footballing stories from the 80s. But the drearier the better. If you send them in to us, be careful. We will probably ignore most of them. But if you get one succinct, convincing, but suitably inconsequential and dreary, we will consider reading it out on the show.
Yeah, 80s, 90s as well, because I think there'll be a different
90s ones will be a bit different.
In the Premier League era.
When you get into the 90s, it's got to be like, there's an aging Portuguese who has been signed by
West Ham.
West Ham. West Ham fans are boasting because he once transferred from Benfica to AC Milan for £5 million. But that was 8 years ago. We're now signing him on loan with an obligation to buy from Verona. He's got 82 caps for Portugal. But unfortunately...
32. Is he 32?
He's 32. In his first game against Southampton, he wows the crowd by performing a double nutmeg on Francis Bernali before being substituted and he seems to be limping whilst then he falls out with Harry Redknapp over like the number that he has to play in the back of his shirt. He says it's unlucky and they won't change it. He won't get it swapped with John Wonker, who wears the number 10. And as a result of that, he doesn't play again until the end of the season. Returns to Portugal, even though he's still under contract with us.
Yeah.
And now it's just subject to legal proceedings.
There's also the storyline where you'll get a player that was hotly tipped from the Manchester United youth system.
Yes.
And he makes 20 appearances in 3 years. And then Everton sign him for about 8 million.
Yeah.
And he underwhelms at Everton for about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And then Sunderland sign him for 4.5 million.
Yeah.
And then there's something to do with alcohol and his contract's cancelled.
Yeah, weird. Sunderland.
That's actually happened more than once.
It comes out that Sunderland, the owners of Sunderland, have had to settle some gambling debts on his behalf, totaling over £800,000.
Oh, football, you're ludicrous. But Colin Daly, getting back to this. What a pass to Colin Daly. He's got a chance. Colin Daly, the ball's about to drop at his feet. Vic Guthrie looks worried. Charlie Carter looks even more worried. But this is just the front cover, so we need to turn the page and find out what's going on inside. Page 2 of 4. and he hits a shot, and it bounces off Charlie Carter's shoulder. Charlie Carter makes a lot of saves unconventionally.
Yeah.
I feel he throws himself at things, and he gets lucky. Oh, hang on, that was Carford fans behind the goal. I thought it was Melchester fans before. Seems to be. All the banners have changed. They're all Carford now. Maybe they're interchangeable. Oh, saved Carter, but he can't hold it. And a Carford City player reaches the rebound first and blasts it right off Vic Guthrie's cock. Look at that. You see the trajectory of the ball. You see like the kind of a flash bit of illustration for the impact, and it bounces away right off Guthrie's cock.
Yeah, Vic Guthrie's cock seems to be made of solid steel.
Concrete.
Donk.
Concrete cock.
You can almost hear it go, donk.
Yeah.
That's right. I always play with an erection, see? That's something I picked up when I was a nipper.
That's what football does to me.
You never go on the pitch with a flaccid penis.
The Carford player goes, what the?
Yeah, that's right. I'm rock hard right now. I've been thinking mucky thoughts all the way through the game, just to keep it nice and stiff.
I've been thinking about Barbara Windsor in the Carry On films.
I've been thinking about her big knockers on that campsite, flopping out
where her
all to
bra
see.
flies off.
And that's why your attempted shot just donked off my dong. Right back at you. Now, if I'd been flaccid, it might have made better contact with my testicles, knocked me over, and created a goal-scoring opportunity for you.
And I'd also be doubled up in pain, lying on the ground. But no, because my hard-on got in the way.
You know what I always say? An erect cock is the testicle's friend. You see, it can protect it.
He says, "Ah!" But that might be a noise of sexual joy rather than some kind of pain.
Do it again.
Yeah. If you get a penalty, I'll go and goal for it. Charlie can stand at the side. Hooray! Good old Vic! Shouts a fan as Vic Guthrie boots it away. Super Brat cleared it off the line.
That's right, with my old chap.
Blackie Gray picked up the clearance, and he's having a think to himself as he runs with the ball. It's a waste of time passing to Roy. Gruber's marking him too closely. So he switches it. Crossfield pass.
Bit of a lack of faith, uncharacteristic lack of faith in Roy by Blackie there. Good job he's thinking that and not saying out loud, because Roy would not be happy.
Fucking hell. But also taking the threat of Gruber into account as well.
Yeah.
So he hits it crossfield to Rob Richards. Nice ball. Blackie's found Rob Richards on the Melchester left. But Carford were following their manager's orders to the letter. And he's got two defenders homing in on him. Rob's trapped! Oh no, Rob's trapped!
Trapped!
Someone...
Trapped!
Trap alert!
He'll never escape!
Is there a policeman in the ground because Rob's got trapped? Rob's trapped. Those two defenders are giving him no room to move. Please, let him move. Give him room. He might not be able to breathe.
Don't be mean.
Jalapeño. Jalapeño.
Do you remember when David Skew used to put women's names on the advertising hoardings and we thought there was some kind of secret code?
Little treat for you.
It's not. It's pretty fucking overt this time. The advertising hoarding in the next frame just says "Shop at Catherine's," and then after that it just says David.
There you go.
So I've signed this one.
That's a couple of things that I've got sorted there. A couple of little obligations that I've ironed out in one episode.
Hello, Catherine. Yeah, it's in this week's. Yeah, the shop's on Saturday.
David, you know that? Well, the whole incident with the pool game. Yeah, double or quits, yeah.
Oh, well, excuse David. He signed it.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was his mate, David.
Didn't he? No, he's well, it might be. There might be another David involved. I don't know. But it's
I owed him 40 quid, and I said, how about instead of the cash, I just write the word David on an advertising hoarding in next week's comic, and he took it.
He said, make it 50 because it might look like it's just about you.
I said to him, listen, take the comic, when the comic's out, take a few copies down the pub, distribute them out to some of the lasses in there, right? And watch what happens next. You'd be fucking amazed.
Also, show them around to some of the fellas, and you'll probably get at least 4 drinks out of it.
Yeah, you'll get drinks, and you'll be dripping in fanny. Trust me, it'll be worth much more than the 50 quid I owe you.
Yeah, add that onto the 50. In real terms, your quid's in. So what's happening? Yeah, Rob Richards is being... They're not giving him any room to move. One of them slides in on him. He gets past the first one, it looks like, who slides in and misses, but then the second one... Look at that 2-footed slide.
Oh, no, it's a great slide.
It's like a fucking toboggan.
He's hurtling along at high speed as well, isn't he?
His arse.
It's a strange technique. He slid on his arse 2 feet out, studs up. Perfectly legitimate tackle in 1984.
Yeah. I mean, that would just be an instant red now, and possibly a criminal conviction. This is just ludicrous. But he's took the ball, so that's all right. They've nailed him. That's the stuff, Carford. So far, Race and Richards don't even look like scoring. Well, we'll fucking see. Dennis Blair, there he is again with his giant cuboid head and wavy black grey hair.
My head gets squarer with each passing day, and I'll tell you the reason why. It's sausages and brandy.
Which incidentally is also the names of my dogs.
And soon, my head will be as perfectly square as a die or a Rubik's Cube, which is a new popular toy that my children enjoy playing with.
Dennis Blair was well pleased with the success of his carefully planned tactics and his creepy-looking assistant there.
Yeah, he looks like a right snide cunt. Rat-faced bastard.
Sex offender.
Yeah.
You know what's under this tracksuit, boss? Nothing.
Nothing at all. Always ready to sex offend. That's me.
I can run on the pitch and whip this off in under a second.
I've noticed old Vic Guthrie's got quite an impressive erection under his shorts. Maybe he's one of us, if you catch me drift. A sex person. Maybe we should invite him round to one of your parties at the executive flats. The executive flat you rent that your wife doesn't know about. The one that's off the books.
You think he's a team player like we are? Nudge, nudge. And he says, shouldn't a few more of our lads be pushing forward, boss? Oh, pushing forward. Dennis Blair says, no, not yet. Anyway, we'll keep sitting on Race and Richards for most of the first half. Sitting on. If their 2 superstars fail to score, Melchester will become utterly disheartened, and then we'll hit them. Oh, disheartened. Oh, I love it.
Oh, hit them.
Psychological disappointment. Oh. And what happens? The Melchester fans will be becoming more and more frustrated. Gruber's still covering Roy like a second shadow. Doesn't Roy's first shadow not cover him? His shadow kind of emits from him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You'd see your shadow out to the front or to the side.
Yeah, your own shadow can't cover you. Shadow. It's not possible.
No. This is a shambles of an episode. So you can't have a second shadow. Why doesn't Roy change his tactics? Switch to the other wing or something? And because Roy knows best, basically. And you're just some nobody in the crowd who isn't even is represented by shadow or silhouette. In this case, we don't even see the owner of this voice. But then suddenly, is it Roy? Yeah, Roy's got the ball and he hits it forward towards Noel Baxter and shouts, "Noel!" Carford defender. Where the heck did Baxter come from? Watch it, City! Shouts the crowd. The Carford defence has been left stranded on each flank. Now we see an overview of the pitch where all the players are positioned here. Melchester are on the attack. They've got 3 players. I don't think they've got 11 players on the pitch here, to be honest. They've got 3 players down the right-hand side. 1 in the middle. Just 1 in centre mid. The Carford defence has been left stranded on each flank. There's hardly anyone in the middle. And here comes Slade for Melchester. And Baxter plays it through to Jimmy Slade. Yeah, what they've done is they've sent everyone wide. The idiot Carford defenders have all ran with them and opened up this huge gap in the middle. Hey, I don't know. Look, it works. Maybe more teams should be doing that. Maybe this is what Guardiola's going to do next.
Yeah, he's got to come out with something.
The game.
Yeah.
Looks good to me. Jimmy Slade rams the ball past the keeper, back of the net. Celebrates with Roy. How's that, Roy? Your own little plan seems to be working nicely. Roy says, let's just hope that City don't twig what's happening too soon, Jimmy. It's pretty obvious what's happened, isn't it?
Yeah, it won't take that much to fucking work out.
So, there we go. Melchester have scored. I don't even know what the scoreline is. Did Carford score earlier? Can't remember. Not really important. It'll tell us at the end. Oh, I've just turned on the next 4th page, and I'll just look at this. Do you remember Scream Comic? I don't remember Scream Comic. It was packed with weird tales of mystery and suspense, it says. This is the first issue of it. It came out in 1984. Stories such as The Dracula File, The Library of Death, Monster, Tales from the Grave, and get this, Terror of the Cats.
Fucking hell, that sounds awesome.
I want to read this.
Might go on eBay about that.
I was just thinking the very same thing. And look what you get free with it in issue 1.
Some Jaws. Oh, I used to have some of them. They were great, weren't they?
Dracula Fangs.
Do they still do Dracula Fangs? Everyone used to have Dracula Fangs, didn't they?
You'd be able to get them on eBay.
The only problem is, though, is that they would always fill with saliva, wouldn't they? I don't know why, but your mouth would start to over-generate saliva when you put them in. Did you find that? Yeah, you drool a lot, yeah.
Dracula Fangs. Oh, of course you can get Dracula Fangs. £3.82.
Not used, though, because there'd be a lot of drool residue.
You catch rabies from used ones.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you generate so much drool it would almost look like foam.
Once again, we come back to rabies.
I'm surprised in Roy the Rovers in the 80s they didn't bring in a rabies plotline. They still might, of course.
You can get a complete set of Scream Comic. It looks like it only ran to 15 issues. 100 quid for 15 issues. I wouldn't pay 100 quid for 15 issues of Scream Comic. Someone's selling them for 200 quid.
Wouldn't it be a laugh, though, in that era, because comics were booming so much, you know, the publishers, in this case IPC, were like just the whole time thinking, let's launch a new niche comic. Imagine working there in that era where there was new ideas for comics coming out every day. Launching a comic would be the fucking best laugh, wouldn't it?
Of course it would. The golden age of kids publishing.
Yeah.
It'll be amazing.
I always wanted to do like a kids magazine, or a magazine that was aimed at men of our age who are still obsessed with kid related activities. Just call it Mucking About. And it was a magazine / comic that was all about mucking about, different ways to muck about, interviews with great mucker abouters, etc. Cartoons about people mucking about.
I like it. Let's crowdfund it.
Yeah.
You can buy the first 2 issues for 10 quid, but they don't have the free gifts with them. So you'd have to buy your own Dracula teeth separately. But, new comics launching left, right and centre. I love it. Back to the Melchester thing. Moments later, look at Reese moving into the middle, trying to get away from Gruber. He's yours, Kurt. Oh, that's another player that shouts, he's yours, Kurt. So I've done the wrong voice there. Sorry about that. He's yours, Kurt. Roy released the ball a split second before he was tackled. Yeah, Gruber is being completely undone here by Roy's genius brain.
Ich bin complete and undone.
Ich bin einer dismantled. Physically and psychologically.
And emotionally.
Roy released the ball a split second before he was tackled to Glenn Ritchie. Glenn Ritchie on the right. He's got loads of room. Oh, now they're coming in the middle now and leaving space wide. There's the cross. Rob Richards is coming for it. But those two City players are still breathing down his neck. A lot being said there as a cross comes in.
Yeah. They must be talking really fast.
Rob Richards heads it down and shouts, Neville!
Neville!
Doesn't head it. It almost glances off his head, but he kind of misses it. He's ducked under the ball. Oh, no, he was just making room for Neville Jones.
Fucking Neville Jones.
Ball falls to Neville Jones on the left. Carford defender, come out, keeper, come out. But, look at that finish from Neville Jones. That's excellent. Right.
Fucking hell. For an extremely acute angle.
Acute angle, that's right, yeah. Just lofts it over the keeper into the back of the net.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Too late, it says. It's there! 2-0!
Neville Jones has sort of come from nowhere, hasn't he? Like, as a player. There's not been much of a plot line about him or anything, I don't think.
Did they find him down the park or something? Or in
was it that young lad who they found in the park? Yeah. Okay. Well, he seems pretty well established now then.
I can't remember whether or not that was pre-Walford or not. It might have been. So he kind of disappeared because we were concentrating on Roy's tenure at Walford.
Yeah, his ill-fated tenure.
Yeah. So half time. What's this cunt's name? Charlie Blair or something? Dennis Blair. Looks furious.
Square-headed Dennis Blair.
Ruddy complexion. High blood pressure.
Yeah. And not being helped by the fact that he's wearing a suit and tie with the fucking tie done right up.
And the
as tight as possible, which is only making his fucking flushed face even more flush.
And his jacket's buttoned up. He's got his sex offender assistant with him there. He said, I don't get it, Sid. Oh, he's called Sid as well. Fucking hell. Rice and Richards have hardly touched the ball, yet Melchester are 2 up. And then the final frame of this issue, look at Roy's face as he strides off towards the fucking dressing room. Oh, look how smug he looks. Having done a number on Carford and Gruber. I've got a horrible feeling that Race is making fools of us. But how? He says.
Yeah. I'll leave you cunts to work that out. I'm going for half-time cup of tea. And I tell you what, I'm going to treat myself to an extra sugar.
Where are we going wrong?
No sweeter feeling than making cunts out of cunts like you.
How can he not tell? How can you not tell what's been happening? There's another advertising hoarding at the top there with the name Matthew on it. Okay, curious. Matthew, I said I put you in the comic, and I have. No, it is not too small.
Hello, is David Skew there, please? Tell him it's Matthew. He'll know what it's about. Someone called Matthew on the phone for you.
What?
Yeah, sounds a bit, how would I put it? Little bit fruity.
I told him not to ring me here. Matthew!
He does sound angry, though.
Matthew, we had an arrangement.
Matthew, I can't talk now. Yes, I had a good time too, but we promised never to talk about it again. I put your name in the comic, as I promised. But it's perfectly readable.
I didn't agree how big it would be. It's visible. That's all I said. No, I don't think we should again, no. Oh, God. Well, I'm friends with your father.
Rise it up as a moment of madness.
So that's the end of that one. It says, next week, a blistering second half produces 4 more goals. Whoa. 4 more goals to come. I think there's something of note in the Roy's message. Oh, yeah, it's the usual stuff. And then at the end it just says, finally, due to increased production costs, the price goes up to 22 pence from next week. But Roy the Rovers is still worth it. Cheers! Oh yeah, one other thing, yeah.
Just a quick one. Nothing to worry about too much, but we are putting the price up.
Yeah, 10%.
We should try that with the IFS, mate.
I think we've pushed it enough. And also the call of the week is from someone called Jason Wallace. It says, Jason lives in Garrow Hill, Glasgow. It's Roy, isn't it, reading this out. I'd rank to say, I'm 12 and I've been reading your comic for 5 years. It's great, especially Durrell's Palace, which in my opinion is true to life. You're 12. What do you know about life, Jason? Nothing. Or truth. I also like Mighty Mouse and Who is Arrow. Mouse gives me a laugh, and although Arrow doesn't, it keeps me wondering who he really is.
Although I have never raised so much as a smirk at Arrow, I consider it humorless. I do derive other things from it.
It feeds my curiosity.
Let's leave it at that.
He says, there's another story which is a favourite of mine. I won't say what it is, but it's a bit far-fetched at times. Well, I know it couldn't be the main one, Jason. Could it? Seriously, though, you have won £3. I don't know which story he means, which is a bit far-fetched. Right,
so we never see the other ones. Oh, you do, because you've got the comics. Do you ever find yourself, like, perusing the other ones?
Yeah. I have a look through now and again, see what's going on.
Yeah, good.
I always look through to see if there's anything else of note in any of the other stories, but there rarely is. But anyway, there we go. That's this one done, and we'll be back with more next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Goodbye.